Marjorie Taylor Greene is unsurprisingly against forming a commission to investigate what transpired in the nation's capital with these insurrectionists on January 6th. Now, she gave a lengthy speech on the House floor about it. I'm sure it was bonkers. Let's watch.
Indeed, we should have a commission to study the violent BLM and Antifa mobs that have plagued American cities this past summer. And that's for the American people who, by the way, pay the taxes that fund everything we do here. Also, we should have a security supplemental to fund all the police departments that have been defunded due to the pressure from radical, violent, and socialist groups. We should back the blue because they certainly back us. Also, while it's catch and release for domestic terrorists, Antifa, BLM, the people who breached the Capitol on January 6th are being abused, some even being held for 23 hours a day in solitary confinement. So, Mr. Speaker, my questions are this. Who placed the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC, which is an attack on both Republicans and Democrats? Why was President Trump's request on January 5th for 10,000 National Guard denied? And who denied it? And what chain of command did they follow? Also, who killed Ashley Babbitt? And why is that not being revealed? Does her family not deserve justice? And lastly, when will the witch hunt of Donald J. Trump come to an end and all of those who support him?
Using the word indeed as the beginning of an incredibly dumb statement doesn't make you sound smart. So that's point number one. Point number two is I would love to find out who planted pipe bombs near the RNC and the DNC. That's actually a great question. Maybe something like a bipartisan commission, the very commission that's being proposed right now, would investigate that. I don't know, maybe that'll be investigated, you know?
No, not that. Something other than an investigation. How can we figure it out? Is Yahoo Answers still up? I think they took that down. Well, I'm fresh out of ideas. I guess we'll never know. It's so stupid. Who killed Ashley Babbitt? Well, how, do you actually want to know? Is that a serious question actually? Do you want to know? I know that the thing about Trump and the witch hunt was BS, but if you actually want to know this stuff about this crowd that even in her words breached the Capitol, I love that. You get that. You get that that's actually what happened.
She knows.
Yeah, just lie better. Come on, you're a lazy liar, Marjorie Greene. But anyway, indeed. Also, I know.
So
it's so stupid from top to bottom.
The one thing that she did bring up that is relevant or at least legitimate. Not everything she said was illegitimate or crazy. There was one thing, a little sliver of truth about people being held in solitary confinement. And by the way, there were wonderful Democratic lawmakers who called that out and wanted to ensure that that ended. So most of the 300 plus people charged with participating in the January 6th Capitol riot, by the way, there's way more than 300 that have been charged. Well, actually, no, there have been more than 400 who were arrested, but yes, a little more than 300 who have been charged, have been released while they await trial. So that's the truth, right? They're not being held before being charged or anything like that. Like the narrative of like catch and release when it comes to Antifa is ridiculous and that's nonsensical. But and she also did lie about the people who were charged being held indefinitely or whatever. But when it comes to solitary confinement, Senator Elizabeth Warren found that to be an issue as well. And the reason why that was happening was because of COVID. Like you have this giant number of people who breached the Capitol. They get arrested and you need to find a place to put them while socially distancing the people in detention. And so they were putting people in solitary confinement. That is not the right thing to do. Elizabeth Warren called that out and said solitary confinement is a form of punishment that is cruel and psychologically damaging. And we're talking about people who haven't been convicted of anything yet. And she was right about that. So I do want to be fair and give, I can't believe I'm saying this, Marjorie Taylor Greene a tiny bit of credit in acknowledging that, but also let's be real, she's not the only one. You have progressive Democrats like Senator Warren also calling that out and wanting to do something about it.
Yeah, and that's the important part.
That's the important part.
Using it as a quick throwaway line is not the same as truly caring about it, which is not nearly as important as actually being willing to do something about it. Which, I don't, maybe she does. I haven't seen any instance of it. Maybe she'll work with Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, right.
I kind of doubt it though. No, it was just a throwaway line. She doesn't actually care about it. And by the way, the commission isn't primarily about the individuals who stormed it. Sure, that'll be a part of it, but mainly law enforcement is covering that. Our questions are about the security forces that responded to it, the security forces that weren't there to respond to it, and what groups, individuals, and politicians might have contributed to it happening in the first place. That's what the commission is about. It's not about the individuals.
Now, one of the other things that Marjorie Taylor Greene lied about, along with claiming 2 houses to save money on taxes through the Homestead Act. Yeah, I added that in there, even though it's not relevant to this particular story. She's a liar and a tax cheat and is facing consequences for that, which is wonderful. But one of the other things,
among other types of cheats, but anyway, yes.
Right, exactly, yeah. She lied about Trump calling for 10,000 National Guard troops to help with what was transpiring on January 6th. But as you guys probably already know, there is no evidence that Trump made a request for 10,000 National Guard troops to be deployed for a rally he held that preceded the January 6th attack on the US Capitol. There's no evidence that Pelosi denied such a request. So even though I gave her a tiny sliver of credit because she said one tiny little thing correctly, that whole spiel on the House floor was full of lies, full of deceptions, and full of pandering to Donald Trump.
Yep.
And she continued her pandering on Twitter, where she tweeted that the January 6th commission will be witch hunt 2.0, led by Trump-hating Democrats and representatives. Only this time, Dems have full control. The media will cover it 24/7 and only report anything that they can to use to kill off Trump forever, shame all Trump supporters and smear Republicans. I think you're doing a really great job though, like filling that role.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Donald Trump's tweets obviously were insane, deranged, random, but like there was something to them, like a purpose. Hers it just seems like a stupid person's imitation of it, honestly. Like a stupid person's imitation of Trump's crazy ramblings.
Yeah.
There's a particular art to them and she just doesn't get it. She doesn't have to because the bar is buried at the center of the earth, so she can easily walk over it. But as an outsider, I'm just pointing that out. If you're a right winger, get better cult leaders, honestly.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.